Hello, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? I am Dr. Lisa Lacan, and welcome to Urban Suites. So, tonight we're going to do something a little differently tonight. We're going to talk about relationships. Now, I am not a relationship expert in the sense that I did not go to school. I don't have credentials in it, but I do have a PhD in psychiatric rehabilitation. I am a rehabilitation counselor as well as a certified rehabilitation counselor. So I do know a little bit about counseling and things of that nature. But when it comes to relationships, I know a lot because guess what? I've been married 23 years to a West Indian. So I feel like, hey, anybody that's married to a West Indian man, kudos, and can stay married to a West Indian man. Lord Jesus, as they say. So anyway, welcome to tonight. So before we begin, I need you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This is Urban Twos for Change, and I am Dr. Lisa Lacan. And tonight, we're going to talk about kings versus jokers. And those are the kings are the ones that, high value men, as they say, and the jokers are just kind of like the scrubs. And I have 10 questions for you, my single urbanites, my single ladies who are urbanites, to ask a man when he approaches you, even before you start to date. These are questions because let me tell you one thing about relationships. The man that you marry or the man that fertilizes your egg kind of controls your destiny. And then you may say, well, how is that, Lisa? Well, think about it. So you get married to, say, for instance, his name is Johnny, right? And you have kids by Johnny. Your kids are going to be a certain way. You're going to have Tabitha, you're going to have Elizabeth, you're going to have whatever. But what if you married someone else named Marcus? You wouldn't have the same set of kids, and you wouldn't have the same set of circumstances. So, just like when your egg is fertilized by, say, for instance, a joker, and you may not have the financial means, guess where you're going to end up in life? 9 times out of 10, the welfare line. And who wants to end up standing out in the welfare line? So, to help you avoid all of these issues, even mental health issues, when you pick the wrong mate, the wrong spouse, huge anxiety issues. Okay. So I have 10 questions. Now I need you to write them down. And if you can't write it down, put it in your phone. These 10 questions, my single ladies, my single urbanites, that will help you. All right. So when you meet a guy and he walks up to you, let's say his name is Johnny. I don't know why I always use that name, Johnny, but Johnny is his name. And Johnny buys you a $7 drink at the bar. And Johnny is very handsome. What if Johnny looked like Idris Elba and he walks up to you and he wants to purchase a drink for you? What are you going to do? Are you going to accept his offer? Or are you going to, talk before you accept his offer? Because 9 times out of 10, men, they want something beyond the conversation. Okay. So, question number 1. This question will get Johnny all the time. I have my index cards. Now, I'm not going to fling them today because I want to repeat them. If I fling them all, I won't be able to repeat them because I just don't remember. Question 1. Johnny, what is your credit score? Yes, you need to ask Johnny. Johnny, what is your credit score? Now, this is the thing. You can't ask Johnny what his credit score is if your credit score is 431. So if you have a low credit score, and Johnny has a low credit score, maybe you and Johnny need to be together and just be irresponsible together. Because the truth of the matter is about credit scores, it paints a picture about who the person is. It paints a picture about who you are, and it paints a picture about who the other person is. So if Johnny's credit score is low, what does that say about Johnny? One, that Johnny is irresponsible with his finances, and that's a huge deal breaker. That should be a huge deal breaker, because if Johnny is irresponsible with his finances, 9 times out of 10, Johnny's going to be irresponsible with other things in his life. Okay, so say for instance, if Johnny had maybe a 620 and then it fell down to 430, and Johnny was consistent with that high credit score over a period of time, like over 10 years or so, you know what? The credit report will reflect that. But guess what? If there's a consistent low credit score, nope, don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time. But ladies, you got to get your credit score up too, because you can't expect a 730 when you're a 420. But I have to let you in on something. Prior to getting married, I did have a horrible credit score. But you know, I married a West Indian man, and he's about the money. Now, I was irresponsible based on ignorance. I always worked, but I spent money on stupid stuff, and my loans outside of school loans, the student loans, my loan amount was like $20 here, $30 here, $70 here. I was very, very irresponsible. But the kicker is he didn't ask for my credit report. So I got one on him. Yay! Because if he would have asked for my credit report, I may not be married to him. So anyway, ladies, that's the first question. What is your credit score? And you want to see a report, not when you're at the bar. It's not like he's going to pull it up. But let me tell you also about this. If you ask, what is your credit score? Find out his facial expression. Check out his facial expression. And if his facial expression is like, well, what's a credit score? Walk away. All right. That's number one. See, I'm not flicking tonight. Number two, what are your beliefs and views of marriage? Now, again, this is more or less you're starting to date. Okay. So, you took Johnny up on his offer. You got a drink. Now you're talking. And, what are your views about marriage? Do you believe in a way out, like divorce? Do you believe in, what do you believe? Do you believe in marriage, or don't you? Do you believe in just shacking up for years? Do you believe in just pretending to play house without a commitment? I mean, these are real issues, and you have to get these issues out on the table before you either walk down the aisle or you have a child by someone who you don't intend to marry, which is another subject that we need to discuss, ladies. Okay. So what are your beliefs and views of marriage? That's number two. Number three. Y'all ready for this one? Do you have alternative sexual preferences? Do you have alternative sexual preferences? Y'all, listen. There are a lot of down low men. You need to ask that question and be bold about it. Do you have alternative sexual preferences? Now, if you have alternative sexual preferences, you need to be upfront with him too, because maybe you all will hit it off. I don't know, but do you have alternative sexual preferences? That's what you have to ask a man these days, because there are a lot of men that, they say they're not homosexual, but they sleep with men and they don't see themselves as being gay, which I don't get. But anyway, that's how it is. So you need to ask them, do you have alternative sexual preferences? Because some people are just downright kinky. All right. Number 4, are you currently sexually active with someone? When was the last time you had sex with someone? I mean, really, like, you need to ask that question, because Johnny at the bar could have just left from digging Diane down the street, and now he's meeting you, and he probably didn't even take a shower. So listen, you have to ask these questions. Are you currently sexually active with someone? And how often do you have sex with them? Like, what is it? Because you got to find out, ladies. You have to ask these questions. All right. So question number 5 is, this one is a loaded question. Do you have children? Okay. Do you have children? Number 2, this is part B or part A of this question. How involved are you with your children? And then another part is, do you have a good relationship with the baby's mother? Right? And then I think I have another one. Oh, yes. This is the bonus question for this one. Do you object with me having a conversation with the baby's mother? Okay, so listen. These questions are here for you. It's not to shame anyone. It's so that everyone can be on the same playing field when it comes to dating. You want to know these questions because guess what? The person that you are entangled with, and from that entanglement can come a child or something else, it can really wreak havoc on your mental health if you choose the wrong person. All right. So that's question number 5. Do you have children? How involved are you with your child or children? Do you have a good relationship with the mother? And do you object with me speaking with the mother? That's question number 5. Question number 6 is, what are your spiritual beliefs? Okay, so do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Do you have a relationship with Muhammad? Do you have a relationship with Buddha? Or do you have a relationship with dark matter? Some people don't believe in anything. And you have to get this out on the table. Because for me, as a Christian, the word of God says, do not be unevenly yoked. But that applies just to practical day life. Like, it's going to be very hard involved in a relationship with someone where you all don't have the same spiritual beliefs and you all don't share in that. So I didn't ask about religion. I asked about relationship. And there's a huge difference, because many people say that they are Christian, but they do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Meaning they don't spend time with him through prayer. They don't spend time with him through meditation. They don't seek his word. They don't read his word. They may go to church and that's about it. But it's more to that than being a Christian. It's about having a relationship with Jesus, right? So say, for instance, how would you like to have a relationship with someone that never talked with you? How would you like to have a relationship with someone that never really depended on you? And that's the difference. So that's why I asked, who is your relationship with? Ask that question, and not, do you go to church or are you a Christian? No, that's the wrong question to ask. When you ask that question, do you go to church and are you a Christian? You're going to end up 9 times out of 10 with a joker. All right. So question 7. What is your sexual appetite? Now, this one is real big because not everyone enjoys sex like you, if you enjoy sex a lot or not. What is your sexual appetite? Do you enjoy having sex, and do you want to have sex 3 times a day versus 3 times a month? Two different levels here. 3 times a day versus 3 times a month. Let me tell you, if you aren't sexually compatible, that is a huge problem. Get that out on the table instantly. What is your sexual appetite? And you may have to break that down. Well, what does that mean, appetite? Well, just like, what do you like to eat? How often do you like to eat? Not in that, not, oh God, why did I say eat? Okay, you know what I mean. So, anyway, so how often do you like to have sex? Because that's a major thing. So, say for instance, Johnny says, you know what? I like to have sex every single day, twice a day. Is that too much for you? I don't know. Maybe Johnny is unemployed, because I don't know how many crazy busy people can have sex every day, twice a day, like every day. Like, Johnny, you don't have a job. So, anyway, what is your sexual appetite? Number 8. This goes on to employment. How many jobs have you had in the last 5 years? All right. So, and are you currently employed? How many jobs have you had in the last 5 years? So, what does this question say about someone? One, that they're not stable when it comes to employment. And you have to find out why. How come you are not stable when it comes to employment? Did the industry change and then you have to adjust and do that? Or are you not internally satisfied and then you have to move every 5 years? Like, that can be problematic with someone who changes their job every 5 or so years. Something happens and it's more than meets the eye. Trust me when I say that. It is more than meets the eye. Some people have to move out of the town based on relationships that they're in, and they have to flee. You got to find out, because if Johnny has had all these jobs in 5 years, mm, there's something about that. But then the flip side is, if Johnny's been on the job for 20 years, that may mean that he's very stable. That may mean that he may not like taking risk. So you have to figure out what type of man you like. The risk taker that likes to dodge and flee and whatever, or the steady Eddie that's been on the job for 15, 20 years. All right. So, question number 9. Let's see. What is 9? 9 is, do you believe in and practice monogamy? Do you believe in and practice monogamy? Listen, there's this, what is it, a throuple? I mean, I can't even hardly say that word, throuple. People have thruples these days, and you need to ask Johnny, Johnny, do you believe and practice? Not only do you believe, but do you practice? Or are you one that likes to throuple? I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. Do you like to throuple? I don't know. Even the word sounds funny, throuple. But anyway, do you believe in and practice monogamy? A lot of people in marriage, they like to have these open marriages. Listen, I'm not one for open marriages. Okay. I'm not one for open marriage. I think, whatever floats your boat. For me and my household, I'm not for open marriage. But you need to establish that from the start. And you need to establish, you know what? If down the line I did have an affair, what do you think you would do? Would you leave? Would you stay? These are very important questions that you have to ask. And number 10, how is your relationship with your parents? Now, I didn't say with your mom. I said with your parents, because that's a clear indicator if Johnny grew up in a single household, raised either by his mom or dad, or it's a question to help identify if Johnny's household was halfway decent. So, say for instance, how was the relationship with your parents? Well, Johnny could say, oh, it was fantastic. Both my mom and dad were there. They were married for 50 years. It was fantastic. You're off to a good start. If Johnny says, "Oh, it was awful. My dad was abusive towards my mom. He was violent, physically violent," you need to slow up because Johnny done learned some punching skills, I'm sure, from his father. So anyway, ask that question. And then if he says, you know what, my father never raised me, he was born in a single parent household. So the question you may need to ask, well, if you were raised in a single parent household, how can you or how has that helped you develop to be a good husband? What are your role models that you've seen outside of the Cosby Show, outside of Good Times, the TV show? What are your role models so that, even though you weren't raised and born in a single household, what are some of your positive influences so that you know how to treat your wife when you get and become married? So these are just some of the questions that you can ask. But the first question I would ask is, what is your credit score? But then again, ladies, if your credit score is low, I don't think you have the right or the audacity to ask about their credit score in a way that you're going to judge the relationship. Now, you can ask their credit score so you can get a gauge like, Johnny's irresponsible, just like me. So both of us can work it out together. Or you can ask your credit score. If you have a 700, the 700 club, and Johnny has 400, don't check out for Johnny. I'm sorry. Listen, if you want a project, if you want someone that you can fix, because some women like fixer-uppers. If you want a man you can fix, go for it. Because some women like to be in control. Some women like to call all the shots. Some women like the Johnny with the 400 credit score so that they can prop him up and do whatever they need to do to say, look what I did. But some women don't. Some women don't want projects. Some women want men like kings to help them elevate. They don't want to do all of the elevating themselves. So I'm going to run down this list again. Number 1, what is your credit score? Now, once you get into the thick of the relationship, you're going to have to be very bold, ladies. You're going to have to ask him to see his credit score report from all three. Because sometimes, or is it 4? Sometimes they vary, and you want to see that report. You see a man's credit score report, you can see the responsibility of his life. All right. Number 2, what are your beliefs and views of marriage? That's a no-brainer to me. Look, why do you want to date? Do you want to date just to romp in the sack? Or do you want to date to become more familiar so that you can build legacy? Why do you want to date this person? Is marriage at the end of the road, or is shacking up at the end of the road, or just an entanglement between the sheets overnight at the end of the road? These are questions that you have to ask, but you have to realize and know you do not want a high body count. All right. So number 3, do you have alternative sexual preferences? Again, you have to find out because a lot of people right now are on the down low. And then some men look like women, women look like men these days. So you gotta, listen, You have to ask this question. What are your sexual preferences? And you need them to be honest. If they prefer to be with a man, they need to tell you. Or if they prefer to be with both, they need to tell you. You need to tell them too. You need to be honest with them as well. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4, are you currently sexually active with someone else? Now you need to ask Johnny, Johnny, are you currently sexually active with someone else? And be very bold with this one. When was the last time you had sex with that person? It may sting. That question may hurt your heart, but guess what? It can tell you a lot about Johnny the Joker. Number 5, do you have children? And this is a loaded question. Do you have children? How involved are you with your children? And do you have a good relationship with the mother? And then once things start to develop, you can ask, do you object with me having a conversation with her? Because the conversation that you have with the mother may be totally different than with him. He may be like, I spend all my time with the kids. And she like, that joker, I never see him ever. The only time I see him is when I call and when I beg him. So, get both sides of the story. Number 6, what are your spiritual beliefs and who do you have a relationship with? Remember, do not ask, okay, so do you go to church? Are you a Christian? Well, the devil goes to church and the devil knows scripture, but the devil does not have a personal relationship with Christ, which is totally different. So you need to ask that question. Forget about what are your religious beliefs. No. Who do you have a relationship with spiritually? Ask the question like that, okay? Who do you have a relationship with spiritually? Some people may say black matter, meaning I don't have a relationship with anyone. But guess what? That may be the person for you. 2 black matter people floating off together. All right. So number 7, what is your sexual appetite? Now, remember, I said, if Johnny likes to have sex twice a day, every day, and you're maybe once or twice a week, that may not work because Johnny may try to look for, other things to feed his appetite, so to speak. So you have to ask that question. What is your sexual appetite? And you have to be honest with Johnny and let him know, you know what? I'm not highly sexually active, or I am. And with that, you have to let him know how many days do you prefer out of the week, out of the month. Seriously, it's like that. You have to. Number 8, how many jobs have you had in the last 5 years? And are you currently employed? That's not the first question. Remember, the first question I to ask is the credit score question. But this one, you ask that question because it tells a lot about them. Are they not stable? Do they not have a job? I know COVID has whatever, but there are jobs aplenty. There are jobs aplenty. I see a lot of help wanted signs. I see a lot of hiring now signs, but so many people are used to unemployment checks that whatever. So anyway, that's number 8. Number 9, do you believe in and practice monogamy? All right. So he may say, I like thruppling. Is that a word, thruppling? Anyway, if you don't like it, back on up. But if that's you and you like to be in a throuple and hey, it may work. But not only a throuple, but having a marriage that's open. Some people like open marriages. Some people don't. I'm not one for open marriage, okay? So you know what? And you need to lay your cards out on the table. I'm not for an open marriage. I'm not for throupling. If you are, have fun, Johnny. Bye. And number 10. All right. How is your relationship with your parents? This one is a sentimental one because it gets to the heartstrings of a person and how they grew up. And that tells you a lot about them. And if they didn't grow up with positive parents, Perhaps they grew up with other positive role models that were married in their lives, like an aunt and an uncle, a grandmother, a grandfather. So you can't highly penalize that. But there should be something or something positive, a positive role model in their life, because the apple does not fall far from the tree. It just doesn't. So, anyway, you heard my 10. And ladies, I need you to go out there and be armed. If your credit score is low, work on that credit score, get that credit score up. But I need you to do me a favor. I need you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because these are tools specifically for you. I try to make it light, I try to make it fun, but guess what? At the end of the day, it's all so that you can have a better mental health. All right. So remember, every Tuesday, actually, I'm actually driving cross country with my best friend. And we're leaving on Sunday. So I'll be reporting from on the road. I don't know what state I'll be in. We'll be driving from LA to DC, and I'm so looking forward to it. Now, listen, if you've ever done cross country driving, hit me up at Urban Tools Podcast at gmail.com. That's URBAN Tools, TOOLS podcast at gmail.com. Hit me up and let me know what your traveling experience was like, what you carried. And also, I'm actually developing a playlist. I know my husband DJ, so I'm going to use that. But I also would like some nice, groovy songs, no profanity, something inspirational, because when you drive in those stretches, I don't want anything boring. I want something upbeat and fun. And then next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like I said, I don't know where I'll be. I'll probably be through New Mexico or somewhere. I don't know. But I am going to report from the road, and we're going to have fun. And again, if you have some music, if you've done this before, gone cross country, let me know at Urban Tools Podcast at gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Especially share this to your single ladies, your friends. Share this, because this is important. This is specifically for you. Do not take relationship advice for people that aren't in relationships and in good relationships. I've been married for 23 years. The best is yet to come. Yes, we do have our issues, of course, but I have to say, I have the best husband. I have the best dad. Does he get on my nerves? Absolutely. Do I feel like hitting him? Absolutely. But with the same things, I feel like I can hug him like, oh, like that, so tight. I love him so much. So anyway, I'm trying to help you get what I have in life, a wonderful king, a wonderful man. So again, I'm Dr. Lisa Lacan. Talk to you next week. Bye.